Hello, how are you today? This is Joanne Hewins, and I am glad to have you with me today. Okay, I think I am where I'm supposed to be, and I'm just so happy to have you today. I'm here in Conover, North Carolina. Hi, Tina, how are you? I'm great. Here in Conover, North Carolina, and it's a beautiful day. Nice sunshine. I'm thinking maybe we're going to have a little rain later on. Hi, Jane. How are you today? Okay, so today we are going to talk about the Pansy Patch stamp set. Let me go ahead and say I'm Joanne Hewins from lovetocreate.typepad.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. And the Pansy Patch bundle has been one of the more popular ones. But I have to say, it's a little intimidating. The other week, we talked about the dies that went with this, the pansy dies, and I did a couple of cards showing those. Today we're just stamping with the stamps, and you can see down here in the corner there are 23 stamps in this set. Very small, some of them, and it's hard to understand what to do with some of them. So we are going to use or try to use about all of them today, except I don't have anything with this saying right here. A little hello from me to you. I have used that on other cards. And I don't have these stems being used right here, but I believe that is something that you could pretty much do on your own. So let's get started. The set can be found in your in your catalog on page 29. And so there it is. It has the dies that do accompany it if you want to get it as a bundle. It also has some beautiful paper that goes with it, and we've already talked about how the dies will cut out part of that. So we're going to get busy with the stamp set itself. Let me move all that out of the way. I'm going to pull in a piece of paper. It's kind of a mess, but this is the paper I was playing with when I was trying to learn a little bit more about this set. And what I did is I Googled colors of pansies and just looked at some of the colors that came in on that. Hi, Faith. I'm glad you could make the live today also. So I'm just going to tell you what some of the colors are on these. Like I said, this is pretty much a mess. This one is Mary Merlot for that darkest part, Calypso Coral for the lighter, and then I believe that is Daffodil Delight with the Mary Merlot. And I wasn't too happy with that one, so I did it again. And I stamped off the coral, the Calypso Coral. I didn't like that any better. This one is kind of pretty. So over here, these two are the Mary Merlot with the Pale Papaya on the outside or on the inside. And then I use the Daffodil Delight here and the Mary Merlot. And here I use the same inside the Pale Papaya. I liked that one better. Here I had Gorgeous Grape and Fresh Freesia. And so I did the large one again. I think I used maybe crushed curry in there. And then I tried the smaller one with the same colors. This is my favorite, I think, and it's not stamped exactly. This one is stamped a little better. But this is actually Balmy Blue with stamped off Balmy Blue and a daffodil inside. Over here, I used crushed curry for the darker part, and I used stamped off Daffodil Delight. Well, regular Daffodil Delight. I didn't like that, but now that it's dried, I do like that. And then over here, the Daffodil Delight's been stamped off, and that's a gorgeous grape, stamped off and full. Now over here, I liked these a lot. This one was the polished pink, and it was full force and then stamped off with daffodil in the middle, and then here it is with grape in the middle. These I did not like. This was, oh, my mind will not pick up that color. One of the pinks that we've had for a while with the polished, and I just dropped that. Anyway, you can get an idea. I think this is maybe crushed, the Calypso Coral maybe with the papaya and all. So I did play around. I ended up liking the blue and the pinks the best, and I really didn't want to bring all those colors. I don't do this with in the room where I have all my colors. So we'll stamp starting off with the Balmy Blue. So I'm just going to bring in some scrap paper and my Balmy Blue ink. And we're going to do the large pansy with this. And I found that for my liking, I liked doing the more detailed stamp first. So that's what I'm going to do. And then this next one I stamped off. Now, I'll just leave that there for a second. I use these two little pieces right here to help me get everything lined up. So I'm going to stamp that off. And this is really hard to see on camera, but I'm going to try to line up those two little places and stamp. And that worked out pretty well. Okay. And then we can do, I'm going to bring in this stamp. Now there are a couple that look kind of the same, and the one I'm using is the larger one. So I'm going to stamp that and stamp it off and just put that kind of in the middle. Then I'm going to bring in this next kind of larger one and just kind of stamp that in the center. And then I'm going to bring in some crushed curry and stamp the center. So it's really not all that hard to do. Let's do one of the smaller ones. So I'm going to bring in the more detailed stamp. And we'll do it first. And this one is not so hard to line up. You're going to want to put that double ridge up at the top. I'm going to stamp that off. Okay. And then you can either do the smaller, even smaller piece here. Let's see. or you can stamp it without that piece. And let's see what that would look like. It looks like my ink probably should have been my pad probably should have been re-inked. Oops, I'll put that in the blue pad. So, sorry, that center didn't come out so great. So that is pretty much how to do those flowers, and it's not maybe as intimidating as we thought at first. Okay, now for the leaves, I'm going to bring in some pear pizzazz, and we'll do a couple of the leaves. There are two types of leaves, and again, I felt like it was a little easier to do the more detailed one first and then stamp off. And I'm going to be looking at these little scallops right here to help me get that lined up. Okay, so there's one. And then the other leaf, for it, I'm going to line up across the top. And that's not too bad. All right, and then for the stem with the bud, and do that, I'm going to bring in some gorgeous grape and do that bud. And there are two pieces for that. So I'm going to stamp off this first one. And then this little piece right here, I'm going to want to kind of line up with that piece there. So none of those are perfect, but they're not too far off. So that is, like I said, not quite as difficult as maybe we thought in the beginning. So we're going to make a couple of cards, and most of it is just stamping today. And the first card is going to be this one. So let me bring in my pieces and move away some things I don't need. Let me clean this little center real quick since I messed that up. And I think we're okay because I think I did the blue on all that. Okay, so let me pull out. We're going to have a base of Old Olive, even though I realized that I have pulled out the Pear Pizzazz for the ink. And this is the 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. And so we're just going to, again, I guess I don't have my bone folder in here. And then we have a piece of Balmy Blue. This is 3 3/4 by 5. And then we have a piece just a little bit smaller. So this would be 3 5/8 by 4 7/8. So mostly we're just going to stamp. That might not be too exciting. And we really aren't going to overlap anything in what we're doing. So I'm going to do the larger. Usually if you're doing a background like this, it's better to start with your larger pieces and then work down into your smaller ones. So I'm just going to put some of these around, and I may change the angle a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to work with that, and we'll go ahead and finish these larger ones, and then we'll add in some of the smaller. Okay, so I'm going to stamp off. I'm going to match those little side pieces. On that one, one of the side pieces is hidden. I think the more I stamp with it, the easier it seems to be. Okay, so I've got that much. I'm going to come back in, and on this one, I didn't do that stamped off blue in there, and I kind of like that, so I'm just going to come back in, and I believe it's this one. I don't know that it would really matter so much, and I'm just going to come in and kind of stamp in the middle of each of these. Oops. We'll put that little messy place under the ribbon. Okay, and so I'm going to come back in, and I'm going to do the crushed curry inside. I could have done bumblebee because the bumblebee is actually the color of the ribbon, but those are awfully close. All right, and now I'm ready to come back and do my smaller blue. So let me do some of those. I've always loved blue and green together, Faith. I remember coloring my paper dolls when I was little. Blue and green and blue and purple for some odd reason. Okay, and we'll put another one in there. Okay, and then let me find that more solid piece. I do really like the balmy blue with these. Okay, and then we're going to stamp in this center part. Okay, and we'll come back in with the okay, I know I've got that with crushed curry. And we'll put our centers in here. Okay, and now we're ready for our leaves. And I just kind of butted those leaves up as close as I could get them to the flowers, and didn't really worry a lot about whether or not they touched or went into the flower that much on this one. We are going to do some masking on the next card. So I'm going to do a few leaves. The photopolymer makes it easy to kind of see where you're going to be. Do one right in there. So anywhere you think, I just about left it where I didn't have much room. Well, let me leave some for the other. Boof. Okay, and I am not sure I left room for this other leaf. I don't think I have. I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, we'll just leave it as is. And so now, to finish the card, we are going to bring in, where are my pieces? We're going to bring in the Balmy Blue and add that. I like to use the glue to give me a little bit of movement. Blue with anything, huh? Well, as most of my stampers close by know, I am actually a person who loves green. Okay, so I'm going to just bring this around and tie it into a knot. And I just kind of do it as long as I think I need it. That's probably a little too long. Okay, so there's that, and I'm probably going to bring in some glue dots to hold that in place. I think I'll fold that one over. And just put it under that knot. And I might put a little one there just to hold in place. Okay, let me trim my ends here. Oops. And we will glue this. Well, They're sticking. Oh, look, I got that doubled. Didn't mean to do that. Hopefully it'll lie flat. And we'll add that to the center. And then we're going to make a tag. I love this little happy birthday that is in this set. It does have some really cute little sayings. And I'm going to bring in a piece of white, basic white, just a scrap, and my Bonnie blue. I'll try to stamp here in the corners a little bit. I think they have more ink. Okay. And then I'm going to pull in, oops, the tailor-made tags. And we're going to be using, let's see which one we used. Nope, we used the very smallest one for our project. So I'm going to go over and cut that out real quick. I'll be right back. I'd be faster if I could pick things up. Okay, and then I used these dies right here to make this little blue piece. It cuts actually 3 at a time, and this one goes with this set of tags, and this round one goes with this set of tags. So I think that's pretty neat. So I'm just going to add a tiny bit of glue. Now, I have made a mistake in what I wanted to do. I have written myself a note, and I didn't read my note. But what I wanted to do was run this through my cut and emboss machine with the Tasteful Textiles embossing folder before I glued it down. Too late to do that again. I meant to do it with the first one. Help me remember with the second one that we want to try running it through the embossing folder, because I think it will look really, really cute if we do that. Now I'm going to bring in some white twine. This is leftover from the snail mail twine combo pack. I don't know if any of this is still left. I haven't checked the inventory report. I have a feeling it's probably gone. But we also have the new combo pack that has 5 different twines in it that you could use also. It's just nice to have a little bit more of the color. So I don't know, I would almost suggest if they still have that to order some. Blushing Bride, that's the color that I didn't like that I had tried on the on that sample sheet a while ago. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to add some dimensionals on the back of it. And add it about in there. And then I'm going to pull, hopefully, because I put that glue dot in there, pull part of this through to the other side. Let's see if we can get it. Yes. And then just kind of tie this on. And we'll just trim that a little bit. There. Okay. And then the only thing left to do is to add, these are the Holiday Rhinestone Basic Jewels. And I'm going to add some of the yellow ones. Put one on our tag and then a couple here and there on the card. There. So there's our card. And on the inside, I have, let's see, this is not that one. It's this one. I have another flower with wishing you a little extra happiness just because you're you. So really some great sayings in this set. Okay, so I think I won't make you watch me do the stamping for this one again, but there you go. So I thought that was kind of pretty, just with the stamping and not worrying about them overlapping so much. But then I wanted to talk to you a little bit about another card that we might make that does overlap. And for that, we're going to be making a mask. Now, our base for this card is polished pink. Now, I have to tell you, I'm not a pink person. So when I look at that, that's just very, very bright, and I'm just not so sure. But we'll work on it. And then I put it with Gorgeous Grape, which is another bright color. So this one will be a little brighter, won't it? So let me bring in, on this one, it's 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. Then this piece is 4 by 5 1/4. And this piece is 3 3/4 by 5. So each one's just 1/4 of an inch smaller than the other. So I'm going to start this one with the large flower. And let me do a little bit of cleaning here before we start. So, let's see, I am going to use that, but it's the same color. Lots of steps. Okay. So I'll leave that out of the way for right now. And I'm going to start with the large flower, as I said just a minute ago, and stamping that in the polished pink. Now my pad has some spots on it. I'm waiting on my refill, and someone in a class stamped another color on there. So we're just doing the best we can. It happens. So I'm going to stamp my darker color, and then I'm going to get the more solid stamp. I'm going to stamp that off, and then we'll match those little bulges on the side. And then I used the Gorgeous Grape on the inside of this one. So I'm going to get this larger one. Making sure that's the one I wanted. And I'm going to stamp it off. Actually, let me get that ink off of there. feel like there's another one I should be using, but I don't see it. So we'll do this. We'll stamp it off. And there is a larger one, isn't there? There it is. Okay, and now I'm going to bring this one in. What are the chances I could get that right on top of each other? Not too good. Not really going to try, but that looks okay. All right, and from that, we'll be using some of, I'm trying to say the word mask. Okay, for a mask, we're going to use a sticky note and make sure where your sticky is, and you're going to stamp, we're going to stamp this larger, more solid piece up here. And we're going to do the same for the small one. Okay, and then we're simply going to have to cut these out. Now, instead of making you watch me, I've already cut out. And notice I cut these out right on the lines. I did not leave any extra of the sticky note. So we'll cut these out if we find we need more. But we'll start here, and we're going to put this right there. Okay, and I'm going to work down toward the corner, and I'm going to make the gorgeous grape one first there. So let me find this, and I'm just going to stamp so that part of that goes over, and then I'll stamp with this one. I'll stamp off. And then we'll do this tiny one. In the center. And I'll just come back in a little while and do the centers. So now I'm going to put this here on top of that, and we'll work on our leaves. Let me bring my Pear Pizzazz back in. And we're going to do a leaf here. We'll stamp this one off. Okay, and we can do another leaf down here. And then we'll do this part and stamp it off. Okay. All right, so I'm going to take this off, and we're going to make a pink flower. So let me clean off my stamps. This and this. Okay. And this. All right, so I've got my mask still here, so I'm going to get the more detailed. I'm going to end up putting my stamp in the wrong color before long. Okay, I'm just going to kind of stamp that there. We'll do this and stamp off. Okay. And then we'll take this tiny piece and put it in there. Okay, so I'm going to put this over our flower, and we'll add another leaf. Let's use this other leaf that we haven't used. Coming out through there. And this is the leaf that goes with that. Okay, so we have that leaf. We can put another leaf down here if we wish. Well, Jane, that's what I'm trying to do, inspire you to stamp, because believe me, I've been intimidated, and it just took a little bit of practice, and I saw that it really isn't that hard to match the two. Now, I do have to keep standing up. You all aren't seeing that, but I do. Okay, and I'm going to clean again with this smaller one. Where's this one? I think I need. And I'm going to do a grape one. Just down in here. And I think they're really pretty. I have to admit that I like these smaller ones better than the bigger ones. Okay, I didn't stand up for that one, and I can tell I was a little off. Okay. And then we will move this over here and do a couple more leaves. I think I like this leaf better. So I'm going to put one going off that way. Sorry guys. Okay. And we'll put another pink flower somewhere. Okay. Let me get my color. And I think we'll just put it maybe down here. And this isn't real exciting, I know. Okay. We probably need another leaf going off this way. Okay, so let's pull these masks off. And there's what we have. We can add a bud. Okay, and with that, I used this little stamp here. And you want to make room to make sure you have room for the bud. And that was this stamped off. And then full. And I want to match kind of that if I can. So far, I don't think I've ever gotten it exactly to match. Okay, let's put in our little yellow dots. At this time, I think I used Daffodil Delight. Probably doesn't matter between those two, which you do. Okay, and then our saying for this one, the little things you do make such a big difference. That's this one, and we did that. I did that in the green, the Pure Pizzazz. Okay, see if I can get that straight. And then we are going to run this through the embossing machine with the Tasteful Textile folder and see what that does. Now the sandwich will be just the base plate, this, and this number 4 gray plate. So let me roll that through. And what do you think? It really, to me, adds quite a bit just to have that bit of texture on there, which is what I meant to do with the cards all along. Thank you, Teresa. Good to see you. We're going to add all of our layers together. So again, this is polished pink. And then a layer of gorgeous grape. Then we're going to add our layer, our basic white layer with all of our stamping. I'm used to leaving a little bit of a thinner border around. Okay, and then we're going to bring in the end jewels, or the in color jewels. And I think these are not available right now. Maybe in another week or so. They're hoping they will be in. So sorry that I'm tempting you with something that you might not be able to get right now. There you go. So there's that card. On my original, I had in the inside just a small little thank you. And well, no, I don't think I am going to stamp that. We're getting a little long today. So the cards that we made are these. I'll put that one with a texture on it on top. These and these two. And we practiced with stamping using the Pansy Patch stamp set. And we didn't quite use all of the stamps, but almost. We didn't use these couple, and then I probably did not show you the ones that were going to go inside the cards that we made. Let's see what was on that one. That was the Wishing You Extra Happiness. This one. So there you go. Experiment and see what you come up with. I would love to see the colors that you try and see how you like this. And I think you'll find that you don't have to just use the dies. They were a little intimidating at first as well. So I'm trying to get that to clear up. Okay. Well, thank you so much. If you need something, if you will go to my website at lovetocreate.typepad.com and click on the online store, you can find all of the supplies to order. And right now, there is a sale on some of the things from the mini catalog. I don't have one in here with me to show you, but the January-June catalog will be going out at the end of June. And some of those are on the last chance list. There are some sales, and if you haven't checked it, please go to my online store and look at that. You may find yourself some deals. Okay, I hope to see you next Wednesday. Thank you so much for joining in. I appreciate it so much. Share if you don't mind, and see you next week. Bye-bye.